For today's adventure, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the small town of New Carlisle, Ohio, and for today we are going back to the 1930s with some very interesting events that occurred at this building across the street. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I am here in New Carlisle, Ohio to document a bank robbery that occurred here in June of 1933, and you'll never guess who robbed the National Bank here on Main Street. It was none other than John Dillinger and his gang. This is the story of what happened. Now, as you can see, New Carlisle is a pretty small town. It's pretty much one main road going in and out of this place. This is Main Street here, and down at the corner is where the events occurred in 1933. On the corner of South Main Street and Jefferson Street, what is now Abe's Hidden Treasures was once the National Bank here in New Carlisle. This building here on the corner is the bank that John Dillinger robbed in June of 1933. But it's not just any bank. What's really cool about this particular one is this plaque right here on the side of the wall. This is the site of the very first bank robbery by the notorious John Dillinger, June 10th of 1933. As you can see, there is still a night depository box there. So it is rumored that Dillinger and his gang got in through a back window. Which window that was, I'm not entirely sure. It could have been any one of these. There's some studios back here. There's a back entrance. I'm gonna walk over here towards this ramp and see if there's anything on the back wall. Nope. There might be some windows on the other side, but my guess is I would say he probably got in from the other side, because this here is right next to the road and there's no way. Well, I mean, it was John Dillinger, so you don't really you can't really tell with him because he robbed so many banks. But I guess the story is he got in the night before they closed, got in the window, and him and his gang stayed overnight until the teller come in the next morning, and they held him up at gunpoint. So they ended up robbing the bank and getting $10,000 from the bank here. And there was also a getaway car parked out somewhere outside of the bank here. I'm not sure if it was on this side around the corner or if it was parked maybe right here in the front. But I want to take a look over here behind this brick wall and see if there's any windows that we can maybe see. There could be. I can't really tell. But it's crazy to think that this bank here is what started John Dillinger's trail, if you will, of banks that he robbed. And it's crazy that it started right here in New Carlisle, Ohio. It's definitely an old looking building, and it's really, really cool. And I love the fact that they still have this plaque here on the side of it. The fact that John Dillinger robbed it June 10th, 1933. And they still have the deposit box too. So it's now Abe's Hidden Treasures. Warm glow candles. What else do they have? Oils, melts, vintage sodas, and furniture. Body lotions, bath bombs, salt lamps, and geode stones. So, crazy to think that, 90 some years ago, this is the bank that started it all with John Dillinger. That's crazy. I would assume that there was probably some older houses here next to the bank, because take a look at this brick building here. It looks rather old. It's called the Crawford House, and it does look pretty old. Let's take a look. This sign right here, Crawford House, 1849. Wow. So yeah, I bet you this house is haunted. New Carlisle is a really cool, quaint, small town, and I definitely dig it. I've been through here a few times to go to a restaurant that I like to eat at, and every time I come up here I like to visit the John Dillinger Bank. But today there must have been a car show or something, because there's a whole lot of Camaros and Corvettes cruising up and down the road here doing burnouts at the stoplights. But obviously this isn't what it looked like in 1933. There's now a CVS across the street, but that's a cool view right there of all the old buildings along the road here. And the last time I was here visiting the bank, that Dollar Tree was not there. It was just an abandoned building. So New Carlisle is expanding, but I do hope that they decide to keep the history here, the John Dillinger history, because as much as John Dillinger did some not so nice things, I mean, he didn't really hurt anybody besides one person that was apparently a cop. He never killed anybody. He pretty much let everybody go anytime he held up a bank. But I do hope that whoever owns this building continues to preserve the history with it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to conclude our John Dillinger story here in New Carlisle, Ohio. How cool is it that they have something iconic here that started something incredible, if you will? John Dillinger went on to rob numerous banks, but he started his bank robbing career, if you will, right here at New Carlisle. How cool is that? I love that they still have the history of this place, and it's a pretty cool place to visit. But John Dillinger is probably one of my favorite true crime stories, so I hope to one day cover more John Dillinger stuff in the future. So maybe one day we can do that. That being said, if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. And as always, take care, peace out. We'll see you on the next one, ladies and gentlemen.